Hey, we got a 2007 Ford F-150 with the 5.4. Truck came in, basically lost like third gear on up. Plus also when you put it in drive, it wouldn't hardly go. It'd try to start off in second. You'd have to put it down in second, rev it up, throw it on up while you're driving, and manually shift it. Now, as you can tell, someone's already replaced this flywheel or transmission or motor or something. We got junkyard numbers on it. But this is transmission. All right, now to get this transmission down, you're gonna need to take the drive shaft out. There's 4 bolts back here on the rear end. You'll take those 4 bolts out, take a screwdriver, kind of pry around it. It'll pop loose and drop down. Pull the drive shaft out. That end right there will come out the back of the transmission at the tail shaft. You'll lose a little bit of fluid. Make sure you put a pan down. Once you get that out, my next thing was to remove the exhaust. Someone had already cut the cap right here in the back out, so they had it basically easy to separate here. But you'll take your exhaust down. There's 2 bolts over here, 2 bolts over there. Once you get the exhaust down and out the way, now you can't remove the exhaust on the passenger side unless you take the cross member out, which is right there. Oh, let's see, it's underneath, there we go, right there. There's 4 bolts right there. Now, when you do that, the transmission and motor is gonna drop down. Now, it's only gonna be able to drop down as far as the oil pan lets it, because it is gonna rest right there on another cross member. I always put something, either a little piece of wood or, you know, something soft in between there to help cushion it. You're gonna need to take off these 2 cooler lines for the transmission. They're both 5/8. This top one here is a little twisted, but it was already like that, and the fluid still flows through it. I recommend when you change the transmission, you take an air tool and you blow through here, and you blow all the fluid out of the lines and the transmission cooler. We're not gonna end up changing that rear seal. I don't see any leakage around it. It looks pretty dry. Plus, like I said, it looks like someone's already been in here before. You got a couple of starter bolts over here on the side. You can access them from right behind the passenger side tire right there. You should be able to access those 2 bolts. Gonna have the bell housing bolts. Now you'll also have torque converter bolts. Now these torque converter bolts are right here. Now on this 07 Ford, you can see them from the driver's side. There's a little hole right here. It should have a plastic cover on it. You pop that out and you can see the bolt hole right there through the flywheel. You'll see these bolts sticking up. There's 4 of them. Basically, I think it was a 18. You put it right there on your crank and you turn it until you see each one of the bolts in this little viewing area here. Basically, you'll pop those all loose. You should have 4. Once those are out, you get the flywheel bolts out, or the torque converter bolts, flywheel, everything. So we're not taking the flywheel off, my bad. We're just torque converter bolts and the bell housing bolts. Like I said, make sure you blow out your lines. Make sure you have something for it to sit on. This transmission has a deep pan, so it's got a step, which makes it unbalanced. So I put a little wood in the front and back there. But that's the process to remove the transmission of a 07 F-150. This job calls for around 5 to 6 hours. That's in and out. Make sure y'all like and subscribe.